Hello and welcome to Eye on Africa. I'm Clarisse Fortuné and these are the stories making headlines across the continent. Mali's ruling junta appoints Abdoulaye Maiga as new prime minister, one day after Abdoulaye Maiga lost the top job following his criticism of the military leaders. We learn a bit more about the new man. Facing multiple counts of fraud, Indian billionaire Gautam Adani gets indicted in the United States, forcing Kenyan President to cancel multi-million-dollar airport and energy deals with the Adani Group. Another year in the DR Congo for SADC troops. The Southern Africa's regional bloc is helping the government fight rebel groups. Mali's ruling junta has appointed a new prime minister. Abdoulaye Maiga will be replacing Abdoulaye Maiga, no relation, who was sacked on Wednesday. The appointment places all three branches of Mali's transitional government, the presidency, the National Transitional Council, and the Prime Minister's office firmly under military control. Vedika Bahel tells us more about the man now in Mali's top job.
For the people of Mali, the new Prime Minister is a familiar face. Until Wednesday, Military General Abdoulaye Maiga held several key roles under the junta, including government spokesman and Minister of Territorial Administration. The 43-year-old has close ties to Colonel Assimi Goïta, Mali's military leader and transitional president, and he briefly occupied the prime ministerial post 2 years ago during his predecessor's health issues. He's not, however, amongst the military officers who seized power in the 2020 coup. Like his predecessor, Maiga is adept at criticizing the West, particularly former colonial ruler France.
The world will remember that after being abandoned in mid-air on June 10, 2021 by France, which unilaterally decided to withdraw the Barkhane forces from Mali, my country was then stabbed in the back by the French authorities.
The move follows the dismissal of former PM and civilian Abdoulaye Maiga on Wednesday. Abdoulaye Maiga had slammed the junta's lack of clarity at a once-promised transition to democracy, triggering sharp criticism. Abdoulaye Maiga's appointment means all three branches of the West African country's transitional governments are now under military control.
And now these bombshell allegations in the world of finance. New York prosecutors have indicted one of the world's richest men, Gautam Adani, on bribery charges. The information reverberated all the way to Kenya, where the Adani Group had been in the process of signing an agreement to modernize Kenya's main airport in Nairobi. President William Ruto has now cancelled multi-million-dollar airport extension as well as energy deals. Laurent Bersecher.
Arriving in Parliament to deliver his State of the Nation address, Kenyan President William Ruto announced the cancellation of two major deals involving Indian billionaire Gautam Adani after he was indicted for fraud by U.S. prosecutors.
I have directed agencies within the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum to immediately cancel the ongoing procurement process for JKI expansion public-private partnership transaction, as well as the recently concluded Ketrago transmission in public partnership.
The announcement was met by rapturous applause from Kenyan MPs, showcasing the unpopularity of the scrapped proposals. The Adani Group was set to invest over $1.8 billion to expand the Jomo Kenyatta National Airport in exchange for a contract to run it for 30 years. The deal, which was leaked to the public in July, led to a brief strike of airport workers who worried they would lose their jobs. It also raised concerns of corruption, with critics warning Kenya was selling off its infrastructure to foreign investors. On Thursday, Ruto's decision to cancel the agreement was met with cheers and jubilation in the streets of Nairobi.
We have only come here to congratulate the president for the good work of rejecting Adani, because that Adani thing was really paining us. Yeah, I'm very much happy. You can even see.
William Ruto also decided to scrap a $730 million deal with an Adani Group firm to construct power transmission lines. The Kenyan president said his administration would now start to look for alternative partners to renegotiate both agreements.
The SADC, the Southern African Development Community, held an extraordinary summit in Harare on the security situation in the region, with a special focus on eastern DR Congo and post-election violence in Mozambique. Among the attendees, presidents from DRC, Botswana and Mozambique, as well as our team, Sharon Mazingazizo and Farai Mugano.
The summit focused on the unrest in the eastern DRC and the post-election violence in Mozambique. After intense discussion, the SADC said that they will need to pull up finances and resources to maintain troops in the DRC. Later on, after the summit, the SADC announced that they will be extending their troops in the DRC by 1 year and reaffirmed their commitment to resolve the ongoing conflict in the DRC. SADC deployed its mission in the DRC in December 2023 under a 1-year mandate. The ongoing conflict has claimed thousands of lives and displaced more than 6 million people.
Summit received updates on the peace and security situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo, expressed concern at the continued deterioration of the security and humanitarian situation in the country, and reiterated SADC support to the government of the DRC towards resolving the conflict and the attainment of lasting peace, stability and security in the country.
The summit also raised concerns about the situation in Mozambique following weeks of violence linked to post-election unrest. The SADC said that it will continue to work with Mozambique to ensure peace and stability in the country. But one noticeable thing is that the SADC failed to come up with practical solutions to solve the conflict in Mozambique.
Sharon Mazingaizo reporting there from Harare. Angolan billionaire Isabel dos Santos is no longer welcome in the UK, and all her assets have now been frozen there as part of a new crackdown set on dirty money. Dos Santos is Africa's first female billionaire and has faced corruption accusations in Angola and elsewhere for years. And she denies the allegations and says she is the target of a long-running political vendetta. Britain said Dos Santos abused her position at Angolan state oil firm Sonangol and telecoms company Unitel to embezzle more than $400 million. Now to Kenya. The country has long been a transit country for heroin smuggled from Afghanistan to South Africa and back up towards Europe. In recent years, the drug has spilled into some communities, fueling addiction. Laurent Bersecher.
Huddled inside an abandoned building, 5 men meticulously crush a white powder and sprinkle it on a rolled cigarette before inhaling deeply. They're part of a growing number of heroin users in Kenya who need to feed their addiction on a daily basis.
Janga hatari sana, lakini linapuuziwa na jamii. Sijui kama jamii wanaona ni ama serikali ama mashirika.
Located along the so-called southern route of heroin trafficking, which stretches from Afghanistan to South Africa, Kenya has long been a transit country for the powerful opioid. But in recent years, drug use has spread across local communities, and with tens of thousands of heroin addicts, Kenya has now become a destination market.
The east coast of Africa was seen mostly as a transit as a transit region in the drug trade. But over time, we see that remnants of these drugs remain behind.
In the coastal regions hardest hit by heroin consumption, some clinics have begun to offer methadone to help addicts wean off the drug.
Uraibu wenyewe ulikuwa umenifikisha, yani sina urafiki, sina ndugu majumbani, hata mtu yote barabarani pia haniamini, sipati kazi kirahisi.
The latest available data shows some 22 tons of heroin move through the East African coast each year, around 10% of which is now directly destined for the Kenyan market.
And staying in Kenya, the quality of sanitary pads is being called into question, with some international brands now facing legal action. A lawyer is accusing them of misleading consumers by claiming their pads are made from pure cotton when in fact they contain harmful chemicals. In a country where period poverty is already a major issue, consumer advocacy groups are stepping in to demand change. Report by Bastien Renew and Elodie Cousin.
These 21-year-olds are being asked about their periods for the first time. The Nguvu Collective is conducting surveys with thousands of women to improve the quality of menstrual care options.
Sometimes people just keep quiet. They end up experiencing rashes from a product and they're like, I think maybe this is normal, maybe it's just my skin. But then when they speak up and they see that, oh my God, there are thousands of other women who say they've used product X and it's really maybe like had an impact on them, then they'll be more motivated also to also speak up and take action.
An increasing number of women are questioning the safety of period products. This lawyer has filed a lawsuit against the big brands in the industry.
If you go to the website of Always, today they have a section whereby they've written pure cotton, but it is not cotton. It's a blatant lie. So it is misleading consumers all over the world, telling them that it is made of 100% cotton or cotton, while in reality it's made of synthetics.
Joseph Mwai believes these products could have an impact on women's health. Local companies are stepping up with alternatives. Lorna Joyce launched her brand in 2021, creating pads based on direct feedback from customers.
The top sheet itself, ours is a cotton feel. Your private parts are very sensitive, so whatever you put there as well, it has to be something that makes you feel comfortable. When we go out into the market with our team to retail or to sell, we walk with a pad like this. Anyone that we meet in the market that we're trying to bring awareness to, let them know what a good quality product looks like.
Around 40 Kenyan companies now produce sanitary pads. But with demand in the hundreds of millions each month, women still have to rely on imports to fill the gap.
This report from Kenya to conclude our edition of Eye on Africa. Thank you for watching.
Hello, I'm Annette Young, the host of the 51%. This week we're in the southern French city of Avignon, which is becoming associated with what is perhaps seen as the most notorious rape trial ever to be held in this country. This as a local court has been hearing evidence how over a period of a decade, Giselle Pellico was regularly drugged unconscious by her husband and offered up for sex to strangers. So as a result, is France starting to change its views towards rape? And even more importantly, the way it treats victims of sexual assault.
The 51% on France 24 and France24.com.